He hustled in East LA. No money, no hype, just fists. And a dream that limped behind like it knew better than to believe. Then the phone rang. 10 days to lace up and fight for the title. No camp, no press, no mercy. Just a shot. A shot he had to take. Because sometimes, destiny doesn't whisper. It kicks the door down and crowns the uninvited. Born October 27, 1956, in the working-class barrio of East Los Angeles, Arturo Frias came from humble beginnings. The youngest of two children, Art was raised by Cecilio, a meatpacker, and Beatrice, a seamstress, parents who worked long hours to keep food on the table and their children focused. While other kids were chasing fly balls or free throws, Art was chasing something else, a pair of boxing gloves given to him by his uncle when he was just 6. I would go around sparring all the time with all the kids in the neighborhood, Frias said. The other guys eventually got interested in basketball, baseball, and other sports, but I just continued to love boxing and would spar with anyone I could. Inspired by his ring favorites, Sonny Liston and Vicente Saldivar, young Art spent hours glued to the family TV, soaking in every jab, hook, and knockout. By age 10, he was lacing up gloves at the Resurrection Athletic Club, a hard-scrabble gym that doubled as a second home for East LA kids with something to prove. He trained himself and boxed in weekly amateur shows where his natural speed and grit set him apart. His first brush with destiny came when reigning lightweight champion Mando Ramos visited the gym. Frias couldn't have imagined that he'd one day hold the very same title. He attended Eastman Elementary, Stevenson Junior High, and Roosevelt High School, but by his junior year, Frias made a life-altering choice. He dropped out to pursue boxing full-time. By 1972, at just 16 years old, Frias had claimed both the Southern California Golden Gloves and the AAU Championship at 125 pounds. That same year, he won the Western Regionals and fought his way into the Olympic trials, where he narrowly lost in the semifinals. The following year, Frias captured his second Golden Gloves title and added a Diamond Belt trophy to his collection while representing the U.S. against international opponents. For much of his early run, Frias trained himself. That changed in 1974 when he crossed paths with Al Lira, a fixture in the Los Angeles fight scene and a former manager to his brother Ben Lira, a local pro from the 1960s. Al took Art under his wing, giving structure to raw potential and helping him transition from amateur prodigy to professional contender. Frias had trained himself for so long in the amateurs that it showed. His punches came from the arms, not the hips, and his technique was more hustle than form. But what Frias lacked in textbook mechanics, he made up for with pure output, a buzzsaw of leather, stamina, and unshakable will. With guidance from Lira, Frias began to refine his style. The bob and weave approach he had adopted on his own, so useful in the amateurs, was tossed aside in favor of a more aggressive, professional rhythm. The decision was made. Frias would go pro. At just 18, he left behind an amateur record of 102 wins against only 9 defeats. To support himself, Frias worked as a shipping clerk while training in the evenings. On February 7, 1975, in San Diego, he stepped into the professional ring for the first time. His opponent, Alfredo Medrano, had little to offer against Frias's pace, and Art cruised to a 6-round decision. Among the crowd was Los Angeles attorney Norman Kaplan, a sharp-eyed fight fan who saw potential in the East LA boxer. Kaplan teamed up with Lira to manage Frias, with Lira continuing to serve as trainer. Frias notched 7 wins in his first year, but his biggest victory came outside the ring. May 29, 1975, the happiest day of my life, Frias said. That's when I married Rose Candelaria. The two had grown up in the same neighborhood. Life had taken Rose through tragedy. Her husband was killed in a motorcycle accident, leaving her a young widow with 2 children. A chance encounter on a camping trip reunited them. Now married and building a family, Frias continued to grind away in the ring. But then, just as the momentum began to build, everything stopped. The problem wasn't heart, it was his hands. After boxing consistently since the age of 10, the wear began to show. The knuckles on both index fingers were swelling, throbbing, and refusing to heal. Frias tried cortisone shots, tried training through the pain, tried sheer stubbornness. Nothing worked. So Frias stepped away from the sport. He took a job as a truck driver for a linen company, earning a steady paycheck and getting a taste of normalcy. My life outside of boxing wasn't bad, he said. I brought home good money every week. I had a routine. In the summer of 1979, with his hands mostly healed and the itch returning, Frias eased back into the gym. He began helping featherweight champion Danny Lopez prepare for a title defense against Mike Ayala. But fate had one more detour in store. During a sparring session, Frias took a shot to the ribs. The result? A fracture. Slow healing and frustrating. Another year gone. More soul-searching followed. I had a lot of time to think, Frias said, whether I wanted to keep doing this or give it up completely. He turned to the one person who had always supported him, his wife, Rose. She told me, "Whatever decision you make, I'll back you." That meant everything. One day, Frias came home from work with the decision made. "Guess what?" he told his wife. "I don't have a job anymore. I quit." Rose looked at him, smiled, and said, "I guess I know what you're going to do. But if you're going to do it good." Looking back, Frias described that 2-year stretch as a turning point not just in his career, but in his life. "The boy in me left," he said, "and the man arrived." With his hands healthy and his spirit sharper than ever, Frias reassembled his old team, attorney manager Norman Kaplan and trainer Al Lira. In June of 1980, after 2 years of setbacks, pain, and introspection, Frias climbed back through the ropes. This time, he wasn't just a young prospect from East LA trying to find his place. He was a man chasing destiny. His record was a perfect 20-0, and he packed for a trip to Caracas, Venezuela, where a stern test awaited. Hometown hero and former WBA lightweight champion Ernesto España. What Frias got was the kind of lesson that doesn't show up on tape. A political education in how boxing sometimes works outside the ropes. Over 10 tough rounds, Frias stalked España from bell to bell, forcing the action, pressing the pace, landing the cleaner punches. But in the final round, España came alive, wobbling Frias. The last-minute rally was enough to convince the hometown judges that España deserved the verdict. "The decision was so bad," Frias said, "even the Caracas newspaper said I won the fight." His team, fuming, sent the fight film to the WBA. To their credit, officials agreed. Frias had been robbed. They ranked him 9th in the world despite the loss, a rare concession, and a tacit acknowledgement of what everyone in the building already knew. Back in Los Angeles, Frias returned to his roots at the Olympic Auditorium. In October of 1981, he squared off against rugged Mexican brawler Juan Graciano. The fight was a war from the opening bell. Graciano dropped Frias in the 3rd round, the first knockdown of his career with a perfectly placed right hand. But Frias, true to form, didn't fold. He rallied, slicing up both of Graciano's eyes and forcing a 5th-round TKO. Then came the phone call. Frias was training for a routine 10-rounder in Las Vegas when the WBA reached out. Lightweight champion Claude Noel's scheduled opponent, Gonzalo Montellano, was out with an injury. Did Frias want the title shot in 10 days? He didn't hesitate. There were reasons to pass. He'd injured his nose in sparring. Noel, a crafty champion, was in full training, and Frias, despite his high ranking, would enter the ring as a 5-1 underdog. But there were voices ringing louder. Noel had been making headlines with derogatory remarks about Mexican fighters, mocking their toughness, joking about beans and titles as delicacies. Frias took it personally. "I didn't know if I'd ever get another title shot," he said. "So I took it, 10 days or not." On December 5th, 1981, Frias stepped through the ropes, battered nose and all, carrying the quiet fire of an underestimated underdog.
They both weighed in comfortably under the 135-pound limit. The challenger in black, the champion in the bright striped trunks, now on the right of your screen. 33 years of age, born in Roxborough, Tobago, and raised in Trinidad. He won this title from Gato Gonzalez September 12th after it had been vacated by Sean O'Grady, who did not fight Noel in a required defense of the WBA crown when Noel was rated number 1. And so the title taken away from O'Grady and won by Noel against the number 2 ranked Gato Gonzalez in September. He fought for the title once before, back in June of '79 against Ernesto España, the then champion, was stopped in the 13th round. Frias, a jab of Frias.
Frias has got to be very careful, Gil, about going straight into it. He's going to get nailed. He's got to go from either side, but Noel has a great counter left hook.
And he is going straight in, but he's really carrying the attack now.
Frias, born in East Los Angeles, raised there, started fighting in the famous old Resurrection AC. His idol was Sonny Liston, back when he was 6 or 7 years old, and his uncle gave him a pair of boxing gloves. He started as an amateur at age 10. 22 victories, only that 1 loss to España. 6 knockouts. Not known as a big, heavy puncher, but he's a busy guy, as we've seen in round 1.
Tim, he's a well-schooled, experienced fighter. The opportunity's there for him, but he's got to be a strong champion. Noel has that physical strength. The other problem I think that Frias is going to have, if it goes, is the 15-round championship distance. That's a long way to go the first time.
And the thing I noticed about Frias, he has trouble breathing from his nose. He's breathing from his mouth. It looks like he had a double mouthpiece, and he keeps it open his mouth to breathe, which is very dangerous.
There's also some blood from the nose of Frias already. He does have somewhat a prominent nose, and looks like that normally probably takes permanent punishment. Blackmore, and the other, as we said earlier, in his first title try against Ernesto España in '79. Slugfest in the corner of the champion. Both fighters scoring heavily, but no serious damage done. Now Frias with a good combination. Got ahead of the champion, Noel.
Inside, Frias is a very good fighter. He throws short punches, and he switches to southpaw on occasions. Dan, do you notice that?
Yeah, he's got to stay in close and, take away the bombing power of a Claude Noel. He's fighting the guy right in close because he's got shorter, better punches.
Well, we asked him the other day if he was
He's strong, tough guy, a well-conditioned guy.
under 30 seconds to go. Round 2. Good right hand from the challenger, Frias. And another overhand. Final seconds now of round number 2. An action-filled as we expected. Wasn't any question about that. Press didn't think much of his performance. Frias tagged him with a right hand, and Noel now a wild right hand. He landed with a left hook.
Frias would be better off not gambling like that. Nail him and play like cat and mouse game because he's going to get nailed himself by Noel.
Right, he has to smother him. He has to stay inside so those wide punches can't nail him.
Noel just pulls him back into the rope. We've seen about every physical attribute of Noel's in the early going here, leaning and pushing the challenger, Frias. Noel just resting in the corner now, counter-punching with an uppercut that missed.
Any young kids watching this fight, this is not the way to fight. These fellas look like they're fighting in an alley. Not the sweet science right now. It's a brawl.
Wild swinging left fist by the champion, and Frias scores inside. Frias now gets on Noel, the champion, and hits him with another left hand.
There's a lot of blood. I think Noel is now cut under his left eye.
Could be, and we're going to watch that closely. There's blood from the nose of Frias, but I think you're right. I think that is Noel's own blood. Final seconds, round number 3. Big round for the challenger, Frias. Round number 5. As you see the challenger, Art Frias, you may have seen him gesturing to his friends and family over here. He's feeling good and feeling confident. He's had 4 good opening rounds. We have him winning all 4 of them in the way we see it unofficially. The champion in the striped trunks, Claude Noel, and receiving a little attention to the inside of his lip during the break between rounds. An unknown coming in here today as wins over Ray Saldivar, Jaime Nava, exactly household words. The only named fighter he fought, he lost a controversial split decision to Ernesto España, currently ranked #1 by the WBA. But he's clearly a very gifted fighter.
Noel's having all kinds of trouble in there, Tim. He's spreading his legs further and further. He's in all kinds of trouble because he can't get his footing right now. And I can't understand it because he's got a brand new pair of shoes on, which is a no-no. He just bought those shoes yesterday. He's wearing them today in the ring.
Well, I'd never let one of my fighters do that. There's nothing like those old shoes and old canvases in the ring. When a fighter slips, he's in real trouble. Once you can't maintain your weight with your feet, you're in trouble in boxing.
The Frias corner did an interesting thing, Gil. They put tape under his kid's shoes, kept the dirt on him because he's got leather shoes.
He backed up the champion with a solid right hand. Noel tying him up, and the referee Lane getting them separated. Frias on the attack again. A good short right hand to the head of the champion, Noel. Noel somewhat desperately now trying to hold on. Indeed, he grabs the ropes and will not let go. And Lane will give him a warning for that. We're in the final seconds of round number 5. We'll return with round 6 after this word from your local station.
About that, Tim is still having a good chin. But he's got this Noel where he wants him. I'm going to be amazed if he don't stop Noel, but Noel seems to have nothing.
Well, he's shaking with every punch he gets hit now, Ange.
33 years of age. Trinidad, turned professional at the somewhat late age of 25. Most of the fighters in the islands do get started late. Had about 30 amateur fights. His 33-year-old legs may be feeling their age right about now.
Oh, they are feeling their age. He almost knocked himself down that time from the reaction from his own punch.
Get back to that grab, and they can take a lot of wear and tear out of you.
Big right hand by Noel, right on the button of Frias, and it didn't seem to bother him a bit.
Under a minute to go, round 7, as the champion has landed 2 effective punches in this round. His best of the fight so far. But Frias keeps coming. The mouthpiece of the champion is out. Round number 8 here on CBS Sports Saturday, the WBA Lightweight Championship of the World. Live from the Showboat in Las Vegas, Nevada, the champion, Claude Noel, rallying a bit against an apparently tiring Art Frias in the 7th round. But Frias, a strong early lead the way we see him. Tim Ryan with Angelo Dundee and Gil Clancy. Angie?
They gave him a good bath in the corner, you know, and they're trying to revive him a little bit. They're doing a good job. Get nowhere in close like that wrestling with Noel because he's great.
There is the WBC champion, Alexis Arguello. And, of course, when you watch him in the ring, you're seeing one of the consummate artists of the boxing ring. This champion, Noel, does not compare favorably in style or technique.
Timmy, do you think that Arguello's licking his chops?
Well, he wants to unify the title. So does Noel. Noel must defend it here, but you heard him say earlier during the basketball telecast, we'll get a warning there as Frias turned away. Noel landed a right hand, but he apologized. You saw Noel earlier saying he wants the unification title. He feels he doesn't have the respect of the boxing fans and boxing press. Good right hand.
Right hand.
Frias. Big right hand as Noel was wide open. And he is in big difficulty and may not get up. That is it. Another sensational upset. A knockout by Art Frias, who was just moved into the 5th ranking position by the WBA this past week. And here he is with the WBA lightweight crown, catching a wide open Claude Noel, who is yet to get to his feet. Donald Romeo, the ring position, is in there, attending to him, and Art Frias with a devastating right hand has won the WBA version of the lightweight crown here in Las Vegas. Frias with many of his friends and family here from Los Angeles, and he's over in the corner waving to his wife, Rose, and talking to all of his friends and family.
Scouted perfectly. I'd like to see Super Bowl scouts do that good a job. They knew that they had to have Frias coming at him. All right, Tim, up to Tim Ryan now in the ring.
All right, Gil, we're here with a happy young Art Frias. Why don't you wait to do that until we finish this, Al? Thanks very much. All right, Art, and your wife, Rose, I guess this is about the happiest day of your life, at least since you got married.
It is. It's the happiest day of my life. It is. Since I got married off, man.
You work fairly confident about this fight, but did you expect it to go the way it did?
I sure did. Well, not as far as being a knockout, but I felt very confident that'd be a winner.
Why?
Just a hard training. My trainer, Al Lira, manager, he's a very determined man. What he wants, he gets, and he said I was going to be champion one day, and I believed him.
You were a very busy guy during the early rounds. He missed a lot of wild swinging punches. However, in the 7th round, it looked like you started to tire a little bit, and the concern was that perhaps you might let him back into the fight. What was your corner telling you?
Well, they told me to just stay composed. I was getting a little wild there, but all they wanted me to do was stay composed.
And you did?
I sure did.
Now, what about the punch that scored the knockout?
That was an overhand right hand.
Looked like he was wide open for it. Did you have a good look at it?
No, I never did. I would like to look at it if I could.
All right, let's take a look at it now. We're going to show it to you. You describe what happened.
Yeah, well, I felt he was getting open, and once I clipped him, I knew he was going to go down. I didn't know if he was going to get up again, but I hoped he didn't. Oh, it felt beautiful. It's the proudest day of my life. I'm proud to be an American, and that's the second proudest thing is now to be a lightweight champion of the world.
All right, Art.
This man had a lot to do with it. My manager, trainer, Al Lira.
Al Lira.
My wife, Rose, too.
Listen, gentlemen, the WBC champion of the world is at ringside. Alexis Arguello, I'm sure you weren't really thinking past this fight, but now you've got to. What do you want to do next?
I just do the talking in the ring. My managers, they do the talking outside. I've always said, if they say to fight King Kong tomorrow, that's what I'll do.
Al, what about King Kong or somebody else?
Well, we'll just have to wait and talk to
my manager,
partner. We're partners in there. We discuss things. He takes care of one end, and I take care of the other. And we have to talk things over and see what happens.
All right, congratulations to you. Another stunning upset here on CBS. And we've seen 2 of them in the past month coming into this one, and you did the job today.
For Frias, becoming world champion didn't hit all at once. The moment wasn't marked by a parade or a grand celebration. It crept in slowly, not in the ring, but on a television screen. It took a couple days, Frias said. It wasn't until I saw it on TV, that's when it sunk in. It was a good feeling. The glow of victory had barely settled when Frias found himself back under the lights. Less than 2 months after capturing the title, Frias was defending it, and not against just anyone. His first challenger was Ernesto España, the former champion, and the same man who had handed Frias his only loss, that controversial decision in Caracas. This time, there'd be no doubts. From the opening bell, Frias attacked with a purpose, throwing haymakers at España with the kind of fury that made it clear this wasn't just a title defense. It was personal. España, fighting off his back foot, tried to control the pace with a stiff jab and landed some sharp right hands in the 2nd and 3rd rounds, one of which opened a cut over Frias' left eye. Rather than slow him down, the gash only lit a fire. Frias stormed through the next 3 rounds, hammering España with overhand rights and savage digs to the ribs. In between rounds, España slumped on a stool, wincing in pain, complaining to his corner about aching ribs. Smelling salts were waved under his nose. His legs had to be massaged to keep him upright. But the end didn't come with a knockout. In the 7th round, an accidental clash of heads caused a deep cut beneath Frias' already bleeding eye. The ringside doctor examined the wound and ruled that Frias could not continue under WBA rules because the injury was unintentional and Frias was ahead on all 3 scorecards. He retained his title by technical decision. Another victory, another scar, and no time to celebrate. After a brief hospital stop for stitches, Frias went where his heart always led him, to his family. That evening, just hours after defending his world championship, he showed up at his 11-year-old daughter's basketball game. A champion in the ring, a father first outside it.
Christine, my youngest one, 10, she played in an all-star game. And she's the only girl on the all-boys team. And she's the tallest, and she caught the winning rebound. Very exciting game. The final score was 25-24. And we were very happy about that. Took him out and we went to dinner after. That was her day too.
4 months after defending his crown, Frias was back under the bright lights, this time facing Ray Boom Boom Mancini. The bout promised fireworks and delivered a career-high payday for Frias, a reported $175,000, but the oddsmakers weren't buying in. As was often the case, Frias entered the ring as the underdog, pegged at 3-1 against one of boxing's rising blue-collar heroes. It was East Los Angeles Grit versus Youngstown Thunder, and for Frias, it was the fight that would etch his name into boxing folklore. win or lose.
Said it should not be a problem, and there's a look at the nose and the slight cut high on the bridge of the nose. And of course, as you can see, and as Art well knows, he has a rather prominent proboscis, and so he expects to get hit there, but it is not considered to be any kind of a problem. We're ready to go with the referee, Richard Green of Las Vegas. The scoring by 3 judges at ringside: Chuck Minker, Dwayne Ford, and Lou Tabbitt, all from Las Vegas. WBA rules on the 10-point scoring system. Mancini in red trunks, the champion. Frias in black trunks.
Tim, Alexis Arguello said that the only chance that Art Frias has is to box Mancini. Now, we know that's not his style. Let's see if he does try to change the box. It doesn't look like it from now.
Good left hand by Frias. Staggered Mancini. Mancini getting his balance back, and now comes back with a two-fisted attack. And while we watched Frias practice boxing all week in training, we had the feeling he'd be out there in his club style once the bell went, and that's what's happened. A slugfest in the opening round. And the best punches so far landed by the champion, Frias.
He certainly hurt Ray with that early punch, Tim. He shook him up pretty good.
Lands a good solid left jab, but Mancini staying right there with him.
In this fight, Tim, I believe Art Frias is going to use that right hand as much as possible. He's going to overwork the right hand. We watched him in training. He was throwing it nice and straight.
He did work on boxing. He did work on defense along the ropes, but he has had no occasion to use it early on here. He's just been right out there, as he said, 2 pit bulls would be the way this fight went. Under the left eye of Frias, the cut he suffered in the title defense against Ernesto España that indeed stopped that fight, with Frias winning on a technical decision because he was ahead on the cards. It took 15 stitches to close that gash. It is under the eye. Gil, what's your opinion of it?
Well, we don't like to see anybody get cut, Tim, but it's not in any place that would endanger his vision at all. His vision. He'll be able to see the blood will not go into his eye. Again, it's of course how much it opens up. If it opens up, look at this. Look at this exchange.
Mancini and Frias just battering him right back. Now blood from the nose of Ray Mancini. And remember that likewise, Gil, is not considered a problem with Ray. He bleeds easily from the nose. He lands a big left hook to the face of the champion. And a right hand. And that staggered Frias. Mancini has Frias in trouble. What a war. Down goes Frias. The champion is on the floor. Art Frias, with less than 30 seconds to go now in this first round.
He better get on his bicycle now. He better get on his bicycle.
Mancini jumps all over him, and he is in trouble on the ropes. Ray Mancini has the champion Frias in more trouble. It's target practice from Mancini. Throwing those non-stop punches he's famous for. Frias, it is all over as referee Richard Green has stopped the bout. A first round knockout for Ray Boom Boom Mancini.
Tim, that was about as sensational a round as you'll ever see in a world championship fight for a first round. They're usually a feel-out round. Not today.
Mancini, who had been staggered by Art Frias.
Frias believed the bout had been halted prematurely. I wasn't out of my mind or anything, Frias said. First, I had the momentum. Then he had it. I just wanted to survive the round and regain my composure for the second round. According to Frias, even the referee may have had other priorities. Richard Green was worried about Mancini's cut, Frias said, and Mancini himself admitted that if the fight had gone 3 rounds, he probably wouldn't be the champion. He was quoted saying that. Mancini promised a rematch, but boxing makes no guarantees, and Frias knew the price of redemption. Keep winning. Just 2 months after the Mancini loss, Frias stepped into the ring with another hungry contender, the heavy-handed Ruben Munoz.
Championship. But as we have underlined, the real significance, where do they go from here? For Art Frias, of course, the strong desire to go to battle once more with Ray Boom Boom Mancini. Indeed, he spoke to Ray at Mancini's Grossinger's training camp up in the Catskills of New York as Mancini prepares for next week's fight against España, and wished him luck. And Mancini said, "Hey, Art, I've been trying to reach you to wish you luck for your fight tomorrow." And they said, "Let's both win and get it on again." And boxing fans, I'm sure many of them will hope that that's the case, but Munoz fans have other ideas.
Well, Munoz twice, Tim, has already switched to the southpaw stance. He threw a right hand, stayed out there southpaw, tried to invite Art Frias to come into that right hook. But Frias so far is fighting cautiously, not the way he fought the first round against Ray Mancini.
That was some start in that fight, and each fighter responding to it in the opening seconds, and they slugged away until nearly 3 minutes were up, and it was Ray Boom Boom Mancini getting the call as the fight was stopped in the final seconds. And say if it's a draw at the end of 12, they'll have one extra round to try and determine a winner. Oh, good solid right hand by Munoz. Best punch of this round.
The way Munoz sets up, Tim, he is a bomber. He really gets leverage on his punches.
And that brought Frias out of his shell there as he had started slowly. Once he took that smack, he landed a good combination of his own. Fighters trading punches here now, toe-to-toe.
And you notice Munoz is southpaw, Tim. Now he switched back around again.
We're in round 1, scheduled for 12, the USBA Lightweight Championship.
One thing we found out about Munoz in the Harris fight, he has the ability to take you out with one punch, Tim.
Frias has Munoz pinned against the ropes over there, with Munoz playing turtle at the moment. Frias banging to the body and now scores a combination to the face. Under 30 seconds to go. Big right hand, a left hook back from Munoz. Two heavy punches exchanged by these two lightweights. Lightweight championship. Yesterday, you had a brief introduction to another young star in boxing, Marlon Starling. There's a solid left hand scored by Munoz.
Now he's fighting southpaw, Tim. Switched right around.
Starling winning the USBA Welterweight Championship with a first-round knockout of Kevin Morgan. Last week, Donald Curry, Hector Camacho brought themselves out of the national television boxing scene with impressive victories. Today you're seeing Ruben Munoz trying to make a name for himself against Art Frias, the former WBA world champion.
In this fight, Tim, you have the guy that's got the real big punch in Munoz and the guy that's the busier fighter in Art Frias.
Had some solid punching here, and we've also had some solid sound problems, evidently. Some audio difficulties along. Apologize for those, and our technicians are working on them.
Munoz is fighting as a southpaw again, Tim, and landed that big right hook.
And he has set Frias back on his heels a couple of times in the early going with those solid punches.
He can punch, no question about that.
10 knockouts in his 13 victories, has lost only once, and the man he had down on the floor wound up losing an 8-round decision. Somewhat controversial, at least to Munoz's people. He's managed by Doug Lloyd, trained by Joe Jovan. Round number 3, Tim Ryan and Gil Clancy live from Atlantic City, New Jersey. Art Frias in black, Ruben Munoz in white. Two of the fine young lightweights in the world.
Bring him up, bring him up.
Frias trying to score a victory here today and hopefully get a rematch for the world title against Ray Mancini. Ruben Munoz trying to show people who he is after his knockout win over Curtis Harris. A big victory here today over Art Frias would put him among the very top lightweights.
That's the eye that was cut so badly against Espana, Tim. It's in the same spot.
And again by Mancini. Now Frias landing a combination, backs up Munoz. Munoz covers up well.
Frias is not a big puncher, Tim. So that's what he has to do. He has to keep those hands moving, keep this other big bomber off balance.
Under a minute to go, round 3. Ruben Munoz from Odessa, Texas, and Art Frias from Montebello, California. Born and raised in East Los Angeles. Texas against California today. Solid left jab by Munoz. Good left hook by Munoz and a right back behind it. Effectively hooking from both sides, as Gil Clancy's pointed out. He's been switching left to right. Under 30 seconds to go, round 3. Frias definitely trying to stay inside more as we come down to the 10-second mark in the 3rd round. For 12, Art Frias and Ruben Munoz. Frias in black, Munoz in white for the USBA vacant lightweight title. Down goes Frias. Munoz sending Frias to the canvas early in round 4. Frias telling referee Larry Hazard he's all right. Now let's see whether Munoz can spring to the advantage here, having startled Frias. That combination sending him down. Solid right to the body by Munoz.
Also a good right hook to the head, Tim. He's a bomber, no question about that.
Munoz, we mentioned, just his second fight at this weight. He came up a couple of pounds.
Frias keeps pouring with that left jab instead of snapping at him, and it enables Munoz to set for his punches. He has to snap that jab out there.
Right hand.
There he's
by
pouring
Frias.
with it again. He's just pouring with that left jab. When Munoz is a southpaw, it really confuses Frias.
Frias slugging away on the ropes, landed a good right hand to the head of Munoz, but Munoz going toe-to-toe with him. Tremendous action here. Round 4.
Big cut
now.
Big cut on the left eye of Munoz now, Tim. This is a war.
That would apparently have come from a blow. We did not see their heads clash together, but it is possible that it came from heads clashing in that exchange over near the ropes. Under a minute to go, round number 4. Frias has rallied back well since the knockdown. Bangs a right, then a left to the head of Munoz.
When his hands are busy, he's okay, Tim.
Munoz landed a left hand last exchange.
Break out. Step back. Watch those heads.
Larry Hazard reminding the fighters to watch their heads. It may be that he felt that that cut was open with a clash of heads, certainly not intentional. Solid right hand by Frias. Another right hand by Frias. Under 15 seconds to go in this 4th round.
This is a brutal physical fight, Tim. They're both taking punishment.
Coming to the end of the 4th round. There's the bell ending round 4. And there's been a lot of heavy leather thrown here in these first 4 rounds. And we'll be looking into the corner here of Art Frias first. And you can see a little redness under his left eye. A little swelling there, but it is Munoz who is showing most of the damage despite being knocked down. Despite Frias being knocked down in that 4th round. Munoz had the cut opened up over his left eyebrow.
At the end of the last round, Tim, Munoz looked a little tired.
We're going to show the knockdown again. Good combination by Munoz, and down goes Frias from a right hand, it appeared on that replay. The left hand following it up.
You got to put a little pressure, okay?
And that's his trainer, Al Lira. Saying apply pressure, and interesting thing from the point of view of the cornerman as we look into Munoz's corner. At the end of round 3, we heard Al Lira tell Frias, you've won 3. You've won the first 3 rounds. I thought a couple of them we had given to Munoz, although very close. But that's all part of the psychological ploy for your fighter, I guess, Gil.
Tim, I use the opposite psychology. I'd never tell my guy to take it easy, that you're way ahead. You have to tell him, hey, you don't know what the judges are going to score. Make sure you go out and win the rounds big. You haven't been winning them big enough. They can work a little harder.
There's the worse for wear.
Doug Lord in Munoz's corner is a real old pro, Tim. He had Curtis Coates, great welterweight champion. He knows what he's doing in there. Both corners have good men.
He had the great Charles H. Milton III, our producer, back in his Golden Gloves days in Texas. Didn't help him much, but he has since improved his reputation, Doug has. Frias on the attack. Munoz against the ropes over there.
Munoz is starting to look a little worse for wear, Tim. He's a little tired.
Frias took the right hand. He's out. Frias walked right into that shot from Munoz when it appeared that he was pressuring Munoz, and suddenly Munoz,
He's in bad shape, Tim. He's in bad shape.
I was just about to say, I think Munoz might have been playing a little possum.
Yes, he was coming on pretty good, Frias, but he got nailed with that big bomb. And that's what Munoz has. He has that big bomb.
Munoz with a wobbly Art Frias lands a right hand of the ear.
He is very wobbly, Tim. Very, very wobbly. Same position he was in against Mancini. Against the ropes, he doesn't know enough to grab. He grabbed this time.
Trying to throw punches out of there, but he just got to survive. And he'll be lucky to. There's still a minute to go.
He's standing straight up against him.
And Larry Hazard has stopped the fight. In the 5th round, Ruben Munoz has scored a 5th round knockout of the former world champion, Art Frias.
I lifted my head too much. That's a problem I have, Frias said. He found it with hooks. I was vulnerable to that. And while comparisons between opponents are often futile, Frias was frank in his post-fight analysis. Mancini has the stronger body, Frias said, but Munoz punches harder, maybe 3 times the power. Stopped again. Frias didn't sulk. He recalibrated. It's been a roller coaster ride emotionally, he said, but I've gained a lot of experience from it all, and I'll definitely be back. But Frias was now a fighter chasing echoes. Once a world champion, now a fighter grappling with the weight of layoff after layoff. He stepped back into the ring 7 months after his last outing, but time was no longer on his side. The gaps between fights stretched longer. 4 months, then 10. After a 6-month hiatus, the rust finally took its toll. Frias was stopped in 9 rounds by journeyman Kelvin Lampkin, a defeat that signaled more than just another tick in the loss column. 8 months later, Frias resurfaced for a bout fueled more by animosity than ambition, a grudge match against former world champion Bobby Chacon. The bad blood ran deep, and neither fighter bothered to hide it. Frias vowed to knock Chacon into retirement. Chacon, never one to back down, dismissed the threat with a verbal jab of his own. Almost all of Arturo Frias' opponents have been winos, Chacon said. The tension was obvious. At the press conference, the 2 men barely acknowledged each other. The air was thick with silence. I don't want to see Chacon, Frias said. He's a bum and he's no good for boxing. The animosity traced back nearly a decade to 1974, when a young Frias served as Chacon's sparring partner while the featherweight champion prepared to defend his title against Ruben Olivares. I dumped him with a left hook, and 3,000 people saw me do it, Frias said. It was a public workout at the Olympic in Los Angeles. We never had a real fight, but I could always manhandle Chacon.
Goes the bell, 10-point must system. California State Athletic Commission in charge. Here we are, round 1. Over with the right. Not wasting any time either fighter. That was a glancing right over the top by Art.
Came back with a good
2 nice shots, 3 shots. We're into round 1. There goes Chacon, a left, a right, and a right. He's got him stunned.
Bobby's going right to work on
He's got him stunned. Here comes Art right back at him. That's not at all like Chacon. He normally posts very, very slowly during the first part of a round, and then comes back. There was another beautiful left. Body shots thrown by Chacon.
He told us at the beginning of this fight, Bob, that he was going to come out and start a little faster this time. He wanted to get this fight over with. He wasn't too happy with some of the things that Art was saying.
He'd had that reputation of being a slow starter, but he certainly hasn't shown it here. Now look at Art. He's come back. Left-right combinations. Uppercuts. He's got him over against the ropes. That was a beautiful right. Glancing left. Look at these 2 go at it. Bobby over against the rope. This is missing with a big right. There's a couple of nice combinations. Art really pouring it on.
Yes, he is. Bobby,
he's got him over in the corner.
For Bobby, that's very typical of his style. He gets in that corner. He likes to make guys miss.
2 nice combinations by Lopez. We said this was going to be a war, and that's exactly what it is. Beautiful overhand right. Second one misses. Fighters are clinching. Art again has got Lopez over in the corner. Bobby finally sliding out of there. There's a nice body shot. 2 body shots. Beautiful by Chacon.
Fierce action for first
Big
round.
loaded up right. Another loaded up right. He's got it out in the center of the ring. Just misses with a right. Art looks like it now. Now he's got Art over in the corner. The right looked like it knocked him off. Yes, it did. Knocked him down, of course. He's down on one knee. What an incredible first round. He looks okay, Blinky.
Yes, he does.
Real seesaw, back and forth. Bobby tried to load up with a big right, and that's the end of round 1. 4 for 10. Both fighters come out wailing again.
And they're exchanging mean body punches here with one another.
Right out in the center of the ring. Nice couple of combinations there. That was a nice right by Frias. Bobby up against the ropes again, trying to fight his way off the ropes. Overhand right and left. Misses.
Frias on the attack here. Bobby back in that corner.
Definitely on the attack.
He doesn't need to be there right now. What he needs to do is get off them ropes.
Nice overhand right.
Coming back now.
Body shots. 2 left, 3, 4. Overhand right. Uppercut. Look at these guys go at it. What a great fight.
This is the same way one of them went down last time. They just stood there toe-to-toe, exchanging punches.
Overhand right by Lopez.
He's followed his fight game plan to the T, having Bobby down in the first round.
Both fighters landing with big shots. Nice left by Lopez.
And Bobby's starting to work that jab a little more. Nice right hand to the body by Chacon.
Fighters tie up in the second. We're still into round 2.
Here they are right above us, and they're exchanging heavy letter. Bobby seems to be doing his Muhammad Ali impression. He's got to get serious here. Art's throwing a lot of punches here in the corner, but he seems to be missing an awful lot of them. A lot of them are great. He came back with a good hook there.
Frias working hard against the ropes. Bobby going down to the body and a big overhand left. Look at these guys go at it.
Oh, they're not messing
He's
around.
out of the corner.
Bobby's
going down to the body.
He's going to that body attack.
Right.
He's going to that body attack.
Left-right combinations.
And here comes Art Frias like a buzzsaw, throwing punches from all directions.
We've got about 30 seconds left in this earlier that was almost identical to this, and for whatever reason, I got Lopez into my head. Of course, it's Art Frias versus Bobby Chacon. Frias to your right, Chacon in the dark trunks. Into round 3. Pretty much a repeat of what happened the first 2 rounds. Just a seesaw battle. Two big combinations. Both fighters just exchanges of blows. Art comes right back.
I mean, this is a fight of ex-champions here, Bob. They're going toe-to-toe, and they're showing hearts of lions, both of them.
Well, they weren't kidding when they said this was going to be a heck of a fight. Pace has slowed down just a little, but certainly not very much. Both fighters jabbing now, both connecting with jabs. Big overhead lefts. Here comes Art. Frias coming right back over the top. Puts it up. Oh, and a big overhand, bolo right. Another big right lands by Lopez. Correction, Frias. I said it again. I'm as excited as the crowd.
Inside, they're throwing a lot of heavy inside punches there, Bob. Those punches are short, and they're doing a lot of damage on both sides.
Bobby headed over towards the corner again. Frias opening up on him. Frias has been pressing and pressing and pressing. We've got about 30 seconds left in this round. A couple of beautiful shots. Both fighters getting tired. We're winding down the end of round 3.
Bobby going to work high and low. He's going to the body and the head. Frias always dangerous, though, because he possesses a strong right-hand punch. Bobby's got to be careful he don't walk into a punch. Carrying his hands a little on the low side.
There it is. And there's Frias chanting on with the crowd. Early into round 4, scheduled for 10. Nice overhand right by Bobby. Frias says he's okay, drops hands, got back against her. Another beautiful right.
Another one. 3 in a row.
Right
Now
to
he
the
goes
body,
downstairs.
left and right over the top. Get back to fighting. Another nice combination by Bobby. Bobby doing a little taunting
something
there.
about those headbutts there because they're starting to clash little by little. They're both known for cutting, so we don't need that.
Right, left, right. These guys have got to be tiring. I know it's only the 3rd round, but it's been just stop action.
Well, like I said, Bob, these are world-class fighters, and Bobby's known to start warming up after 3 rounds. So you can see him starting to turn on the afterburners here.
3 rounds to warm up.
Another right hand,
right.
I'll tell you something, though. Frias is
Nice combination there by Frias. He's got him up against the ropes. Going left-right combinations. Missing. Winding down near the end of the round, about 30 seconds to go.
That's Bobby pinned on the ropes, and he's starting to throw an arsenal of punches there.
Bobby coming back off the ropes with combination.
Yes,
Out here, Blinky, you can't hear a thing.
he is. No, you can't. I'll tell you what, these people are getting everything what this fight was built out to be.
Certainly the money's
And they're
worth.
coming out here, and these guys are they're just throwing arsenal from all over the place. It's an incredible pace that we've seen here in the first 4 or 5 rounds.
Bobby doing a little taunting there. Frias says that's no problem.
They're both taunting each other here now, Bob. Right hand to the body. Double jab there.
It's been a clean fight. It's
sure
certainly a
has.
hard-fought fight. Referee hasn't had too much of a problem with breaking the fighters up. Beautiful left-right combination. Another left by Bobby. Frias trying to lean on him now, trying to get
Bobby
him close.
going down to the body with that right hand, Bob. There's 4 in a row. Overhand right as he's coming in.
Frias was trying to lean on Chacon a little bit.
Comes in the corner, not the time, man. I think it hurt.
Frias coming right back. Overhand right. Another overhand right by Frias, and a 3rd one. Combinations by Frias. Chacon up against the ropes.
It's very traditional, Bob. He likes to get on those ropes, and he likes to come fighting back off the ropes.
Nice right. We've got a cut. Small cut over the left eye. Just the corner of the left eye of Chacon. Overhead rights. It doesn't look too serious. Not at this point. Frias evidently going by his fight strategy, said he would stay right out in front, but back comes Chacon.
Bobby throwing short punches on the inside now, catching Frias with them uppercuts.
We're winding down to the end of round 5. Scheduled for 10, halfway through. Overhand rights and lefts by Art. And there. We have a warning from the referee. He wants them both to keep their heads up. Looking out for butts.
Art's carrying his hands high now.
Bobby pressing now. He's either standing there and exchanging blows, but now he presses Frias up against ropes. Crowd's yelling, Bobby, Bobby.
Nice combination of punches there by Chacon. Another right hand.
Chacon seems to be taking his time this round. He's picking his shots a little bit more. Popping that left. That was a nice overhand right. Fortunately, the cut looks good. Looks like his corner man did a good job on it. It hasn't reopened. Big body shot by Chacon to Frias. Overhand right by Frias. They just keep exchanging. One man against the rope, they go across the ring, and the next man's against the ropes.
They're both exchanging hard leather here right above us. It almost seems like Bobby says, okay, my turn. Then he throws and Frias says, okay, my turn.
There went Chacon's mouthpiece. Roughly 30 seconds left in this, the 6th round. They'll have to stop the clock. Mouthpiece was knocked out. Bobby Chacon by Frias. There's a little redness above Bobby's eye. That cut may have opened up a little, but it still doesn't look very dangerous, Blinky. Winding down to the end of round 6.
There goes that jab. He's putting it out there again. Oh, they
nice
traded
overhand
nice
right by Frias.
Frias seemed to be able to find Bobby with the right hand tonight.
There's the end of the round 7, scheduled for 10. Bobby Chacon versus Art Frias. Frias to your left, Chacon to the right. Against the ropes, you give me your best shot, and then I give me one.
Okay, your turn, my turn.
That's right.
I think they're even both surprised that it's gone this far themselves. Nice combination by Chacon. He's really putting that left hand to work for him now.
Hey, Blinky, these guys are in great shape. You can't keep this up for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rounds. Just beautiful overhead forward by Chacon. Bobby's got him hurt. There's a body shot. He's got Frias against the ropes. He's measured him. There's a body shot, another body shot, another body shot. 3 rights in a row. An overhand right, another overhand right that connects. Right against the ropes.
Back to the body. Bobby's lifting him up.
Frias hit hard to the right and another hard right. He's down. He's down.
What a barrage of punches they Frias do. Listen to this crowd.
Listen to this crowd. Indeed. That's it. That's it.
What a barrage of punches by Bobby Chacon. He came back downstairs with 3, 4 right hands in a row. Coming over the top of the right hand after he set him up down low. What a fight.
This was indeed a great fight.
Now the sparring stories were over. The insults had been traded. It was time to settle the score not in a gym, but under the lights, where the past and present collided to lay old ghosts to rest. It was the final bell for Arturo Frias. No farewell tour, no headlines, just a quiet exit from the ropes and into the rhythm of everyday life. He hung up the gloves and returned to Southern California, where a steady job with the Santa Fe Railroad replaced the grind of the gym. But though Frias walked away from the fight game, the fight never quite left him. He became a familiar face on the retired boxer circuit, shaking hands at award dinners, posing for photos at reunion banquets, always welcome with the respect owed to a man who'd once clawed his way to the top of the lightweight division. His name still floats through the sweat-stained gyms and banquet halls of Southern California, not as some golden god with a belt, but as a man who bled for it. Grit, guts, and no safety net. That's what they remember. In a sport that chews you up, Frias earned something real. Meat on the grill, backyard barbecues, bills paid on time, and the kind of smile you only get from a wife, kids, and grandkids who know you showed up.